At 58 years old, Thomas sat alone in his truck outside his office parking lot. The building behind him carried his name. He had spent 30 years building that company, 30 years of early mornings, 30 years of missed weekends, 30 years chasing something he believed would finally make him feel complete. But that night, he wasn't thinking about money. He wasn't thinking about success. He wasn't even thinking about retirement. He was staring at the dashboard, wondering one simple thing: when exactly did I stop enjoying my life? That question followed him home, and what he discovered over the next year changed everything. Because the truth was uncomfortable. Thomas wasn't exhausted from working. He was exhausted from chasing money, chasing status, chasing approval, chasing opportunities, chasing people, chasing expectations that were never truly his. And once he stopped chasing everything, life became strangely beautiful again. Most men discover this too late. They spend the first half of life running, the second half recovering from the running. But there is an age, an invisible age, when many men quietly begin to understand something younger men cannot imagine. Not everything deserves pursuit. Not everyone deserves effort. Not every opportunity deserves your time. And not every battle deserves your energy. That realization changes a man. Maybe you've experienced this. Maybe you spent years believing that more was always better. More money, more attention, more friends, more achievements, more recognition. Maybe this is happening in your life right now. You reached goals you once prayed for, and somehow still felt restless. Because the problem was never the destination, it was the addiction to movement. Most people think ambition creates happiness. They're wrong. Here's why. Achievement creates excitement. Peace creates happiness. Those are not the same thing. Excitement fades quickly. Peace stays. A younger man often confuses activity with progress. A wiser man understands that not moving can sometimes be the greatest progress of all. The first thing men stop chasing is approval. This one surprises many people, especially good men, because good men often become approval addicts without realizing it. Approval from their fathers, approval from their wives, approval from bosses, approval from society, approval from people they don't even respect. They build entire lives around avoiding disappointment, and slowly, their real identity disappears underneath everyone else's expectations. Then one day something changes. They become tired, not physically, spiritually. They finally ask themselves, if nobody applauded my choices, would I still make them? For many men, that question changes everything. The second thing men stop chasing is being understood. This lesson usually arrives through pain, divorce, betrayal, friendships ending, family misunderstandings. At some point, a man realizes something difficult. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you, not because you explained poorly, because understanding you would require them to question themselves. And many people would rather lose you than lose their version of the story. That realization frees a man. He stops defending himself. He stops explaining every decision. He stops performing for a jury that already made its decision years ago. And strangely, that silence often earns more respect than explanation ever did. Maybe you've lived this yourself. Maybe you spent years trying to prove your heart to people who only judged your mistakes. Maybe you carried guilt that never belonged to you. Maybe you're still carrying it. The third thing men stop chasing is people who only stay when they need something. This one hurts, because men often confuse being needed with being loved. They aren't the same thing. Being useful creates dependency. Being valued creates loyalty. The difference changes lives. Here comes the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes people don't miss you. They miss your availability. They miss your help. They miss your solutions. They miss your sacrifices. But they never truly missed you. That realization breaks some men. It frees others. The people you carried the longest are sometimes the first people who disappear when you stop carrying them. That isn't bitterness. That's human nature. And human nature becomes easier to understand after enough disappointment. The fourth thing men stop chasing is endless growth for the sake of growth. This may sound strange, especially in a culture obsessed with productivity. More business, more goals, more optimization, more hustle. But eventually a man asks a different question. What exactly am I building all this for? Thomas asked himself that question at 58. He had money. He had success. He had a respected name in his city. But he had almost no memories from his son's teenage years. He had photographs of family vacations he barely remembered attending mentally. He had achievements, but very little presence. That realization hurt more than failure ever could, because regret often arrives quietly, not all at once, just small moments that slowly collect over decades. This is where many men begin choosing peace over expansion, presence over performance, meaning over momentum. And then something surprising happens. Life becomes richer. Not because they gained more, because they finally learned what to ignore. This is the pattern interrupt. The quality of your life often depends less on what you pursue and more on what you refuse to chase. That sentence sounds simple, but it changes lives. After enough years, many men stop chasing attention and start protecting peace. They stop chasing quantity and start valuing quality. They stop chasing admiration and start respecting themselves. This is where Stoic wisdom quietly enters the room. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth. Yet he constantly reminded himself that fame disappears, praise disappears, power disappears. The only thing that remains is character. Epictetus understood something even deeper. If you attach your happiness to things outside yourself, you surrender your peace to forces you cannot control. That lesson feels philosophical at 30. It feels painfully practical at 60. Seneca warned that many people spend their entire lives preparing to live without ever truly living. Many men hear those words and immediately recognize themselves, because they spent decades postponing joy. I'll rest after this promotion. I'll slow down after this project. I'll enjoy life after I get ahead. Then one day they realize the finish line keeps moving, and life quietly passes by while they chase it. The big payoff is this. There is an age when men stop chasing everything. Not because they become weak, because they become wise. They finally understand that peace is more valuable than attention. Respect is more valuable than popularity. Presence is more valuable than productivity. And freedom is more valuable than approval. One day, you stop chasing people who don't choose you. You stop chasing opportunities that cost your health. You stop chasing arguments that steal your peace. You stop chasing versions of success that don't belong to you. And slowly, without even noticing, your shoulders become lighter. Your mind becomes quieter. Your life becomes yours again. This channel is for men choosing peace, growth, and wisdom over noise, pressure, and endless chasing. If that sounds like you, continue this journey with us. Because sometimes the best part of a man's life begins the moment he finally stops running.